Xiong was a man woven from the very threads of his stories. His life was a quiet testament to the power of narrative, a solitary existence dedicated to the echoes of ancient voices. He was a storyteller, not merely by profession, but by the very essence of his being. His sanctuary was a small apartment illuminated by the glow of a screen where his YouTube channel, Stories of the Forgotten, thrived. It was a digital hearth, a sacred space where the vibrant tapestry of Hmong folklore found new life, shared with a world hungry for forgotten magic. Here, he meticulously preserved tales whispered across generations. His days unfolded in a monastic rhythm, each hour a devotion to the narratives that flowed through his fingertips. He was a guardian of legends, a keeper of the old ways, his spirit deeply intertwined with the myths he brought to life. He believed in the power of words to shape reality, though he could not have known how profoundly they would shape his own. One crisp evening, Kao began to write of the Hmong New Year, Chiab Peb Kog. He poured the vibrant spirit of the festival onto the page, describing the joyous chaos, the shimmering silks, and the laughter that danced on the wind. As his words flowed, a strange tremor ran through his world. Suddenly, his screen fractured, not into shards of glass, but into a shimmering portal. He felt an irresistible pull, a dizzying sensation, and then he was there. The air hummed with the very festival he had just imagined, a symphony of sights, sounds, and smells that overwhelmed his senses. He was amidst the throng, the scent of sticky rice and grilled meats filling the air, the vibrant colors of traditional dress swirling around him. This was no dream. It was a tangible, breathing reality. Then his gaze fell upon her. Mai. He had written her into existence, a character of grace and spirit. But the woman before him was more vivid than any ink on a page. Her eyes held a depth he had not conceived, her smile a warmth that reached into his very soul. They spoke for hours, their words weaving a connection that felt ancient and undeniable. They danced beneath the festival lights, their laughter mingling with the joyous din. A profound, immediate bond formed between them, a recognition of kindred spirits. He felt a belonging he had never known, a sense of home in this impossible place. Yet, even as joy filled him, a relentless pull began to tug at his spirit. It was the call of his own reality, a subtle but insistent whisper from the world he had left behind. A chilling fear began to creep into his heart. He feared losing himself, dissolving into the narrative he had created. The thought of being trapped, a mere character in his own story, filled him with a primal terror. Panic seized him, a cold dread that eclipsed the warmth of Mai's presence. Driven by this overwhelming fear, he fled. He tore himself away from the vibrant festival, from Mai's bewildered gaze, and plunged back through the shimmering veil. He landed back in his quiet apartment, gasping, the phantom sounds of the festival still echoing in his ears. His hands trembled as he stared at the screen, the words of the festival story still glowing there. In a desperate act born of fear and confusion, he deleted it. He erased Mai, erased the festival, attempting to sever the impossible link, to deny the reality of what he had experienced. Years unfolded, marked by the quiet success of Kao's channel. Stories of the Forgotten flourished, drawing countless listeners into the rich tapestry of Hmong lore. Yet, despite his outward achievements, Mai remained an indelible presence in his mind, a ghost in the quiet corners of his thoughts. He tried to rationalize her away, to convince himself she was a figment of his imagination, a vivid dream. He told himself that the shattering screen and the impossible journey were merely the products of an overactive mind, a storyteller's delusion. But the memory of her smile, the warmth of her hand, persisted. One day, He began to write a new story, a poignant tale of loss and resilience, of enduring love. As his words flowed, a familiar, undeniable pull began to assert itself. It was gentler this time, less violent, but no less insistent. He hesitated. Then, with a deep breath, he surrendered. He allowed himself to be drawn back into the narrative, into the world he had once fled. The transition was smoother, a gentle unfolding rather than a jarring tear. He found himself in a familiar landscape, the air thick with the scent of earth and ancient trees. There, beneath the sprawling branches of an ancient banyan tree, sat Mai. She was older now, her face etched with the wisdom of years, her eyes holding a quiet strength. She was a widow, she told him, her children grown and living their own lives. They spent days together, beneath the shade of the banyan, sharing fragments of their lives. He listened to her stories of joy and sorrow, of raising a family, of navigating the quiet currents of time. He longed to confess the impossible truth of his origins, to explain his sudden disappearance, but the words caught in his throat. He feared her disbelief, her judgment, or worse, the shattering of the fragile peace they had found. He remained silent, a secret burdening his heart, even as their connection deepened once more. Then, a sudden sharp pain pierced him, a searing agony that ripped him from the banyan tree. He awoke to the sterile scent of antiseptic, the harsh fluorescent lights of a hospital room. A doctor stood over him, a grave expression on his face. The diagnosis was a cruel whisper. Cancer. A profound sense of loss washed over him, a feeling that a vital part of his spirit had been left behind, irrevocably tied to the world he had just departed. Decades later, Kao was frail, his body ravaged by the relentless march of cancer. His YouTube channel, once a vibrant sanctuary, had fallen dormant, a silent testament to the passage of time. He knew his own story was nearing its final page. Then, a familiar sensation stirred within him, a gentle, irresistible pull. It was the story calling him home, not with panic this time, but with a profound sense of peace. He surrendered, allowing himself to be drawn back into the narrative, into the world where his heart had always lingered. He returned to the ancient banyan tree, its roots now even more gnarled and wise. There he found Mai, her form delicate, her eyes holding the soft glow of a life well lived, nearing its own gentle conclusion. Their gazes met, and in that moment, all the unspoken years, all the regret, dissolved. He reached for her hand, his voice a fragile whisper. He apologized for his fear, for his abandonment, for the decades of silence. He confessed the impossible truth of his origins, of being the storyteller who had created her world. Mai's grip tightened, her eyes filled with understanding, not shock. She smiled, a knowing, gentle smile. She told him she had always sensed his fear, the way he wrestled with the power of his own creations. She understood his struggle, his human frailty in the face of the extraordinary. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet, Mai's breath grew shallow. Her hand, still clasped in his, grew still. She passed away peacefully, her spirit merging with the ancient whispers of the banyan tree, leaving Kao with a profound sense of both sorrow and release. He awoke by the shore of a vast, shimmering ocean, the gentle lapping of waves a soothing balm. The weight of his illness, the burden of his fear, had lifted. He felt profoundly changed, lighter, as if a lifetime of regret had finally been washed away. In the distance, a figure walked towards the setting sun, a woman in a vibrant Hmong dress, her silhouette outlined against the golden light. It was a vision of hope, an echo of Mai, walking into a future free from fear, a promise of reunion in a world where stories and reality could finally intertwine without consequence.